NTD SRO 212.
NTD, go ahead.
Range is now back green. SRO is go. You have a range clear to launch.
Okay, I copy SRO. Range is green.
Correct.
DVD, what you say? Go ahead. Looking for step 1036, payload base. Flow rate set for launch. That's firm. All right, we'll take 1034, 5, and 6. Copy. OTC, NTD, step 1040. Copy. MS2, OTC. Go ahead, MS2. Yes, sir. Kilo 19, TV power switch to on, ON. That's in Rick. And OTC, that's complete. Copy that.
OTC, HTD.
HTD.
Okay, at this time we can give you 1057.
And we have about 6.5 minutes remaining in our scheduled built-in hold at T-minus 9 minutes. We heard from engineers that the range issue, the primary command station, is now fully understood, and it is not a concern for launch tonight. The range have reported in that they are go and ready to support our launch attempt tonight. Over the next couple of minutes, we'll have another couple of polls, one from our NASA test director, Jeff Spaulding, and that will be followed by the...
And attention all personnel, this is the NTD conducting the launch status check. Verify ready to resume count and go for launch. OTC? OTC's go. TBC? TBC's go. PTC? PTC's go. LPS?
LPS go.
Flight?
Houston flight is go.
Mila?
Milo's go.
STM? STM go. Safety console? Safety's go. SPE?
SP's go.
LRD?
LRD is go.
SRO?
SRO is go.
And CDR? The shuttle crew is go. And I copy. Launch director, NTD.
Launch director.
The launch team is ready to proceed at this time.
I copy that. Chief engineer, verify no constraints to launch.
Engineer is ready, Mike.
Okay, thank you, Charlie. KC, safety mission assurance.
ASC SMA is go.
Copy. International Space Station launch manager.
Mike, the International Space Station processing team is go for launch of the P6 truss.
Copy, thank you, Bill. Range weather.
For Roger, sir, we have no constraints to launch.
Okay, thank you. Ops manager.
Mission management team is working no issues. You have a go to continue the count.
Okay, thank you, sir. Endeavour launch director.
Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, Brent, it's a beautiful night to fly, so we wish you luck, have fun, and give our best to Shep, Sergey, and Yuri.
Okay, we will. It was an awesome job by the launch team today, making up for that lost time, especially the closeout crew. They were really hustling tonight when we got out here. And before we leave town, the station commander, Bill Shepard, asked me to, on behalf of the Alpha crew, to pass along their appreciation to everyone who's responsible for getting this mission ready to go. They're really looking forward to powering
thank you very much for those very nice words. It's our privilege and pleasure to get you on orbit tonight. So with that, NTD, you're clear to proceed.
I copy, Launch Director.
NTD Houston Flight 212.
Go ahead, flight.
We have a very brief update for TAL runway selection for the crew.
I copy, and you have a go.
Endeavour Houston, we have an update for Zaragoza. Let me know when you're ready to copy.
Houston, we're ready to copy.
And Brent, for Zaragoza now, we'd like short field speed brake, and we show 32%. Touchdown, 2,600 feet. How copy?
Okay, short field speed brake, 32%, touching down 2600 for the TAL, and we got it up.
Good copy, Brent.
NTD Houston Flight's done.
I copy, flight. NTD ISL. Go ISL. Altitude recorder activated. Copy. And attention all personnel, the countdown clock will resume in 2 minutes, 25 seconds. Mark. Copy.
This is Shuttle Launch Control, and as we heard, everything is now green and go for launch tonight. The mission management team, the NASA test director Jeff Spaulding, and launch director Mike Leinbach completed their polls of the various directorates and interests here tonight, and NASA test director Jeff Spaulding is verified that we are ready to come out of the hold here in about 1 minute 45 seconds. That will put us on track for a launch at 10:06 and 1 second p.m. Eastern Time. And we are.
We'll resume in 1 minute.
And we're 60 seconds away from resuming the count of Space Shuttle Endeavour. Launch on mission STS-97. Standing by to come out of the hold.
The countdown clock will resume on my mark. 3, 2, 1, mark.
T-minus 9 minutes and counting.
GLS auto sequence has been initiated.
The ground launch sequencer has been initiated. NASA Test Director Jeff Spaulding is about to call for the transmittal of stored pre-launch commands as Endeavour is less than 9 minutes away from launch on a mission back to the International Space Station.
Go ahead. Connect essential buses to the fuel cells per your checklist. And work.
T-minus 8 minutes and counting.
Copy that.
Pilot Bloomfield is flipping switches in the cockpit to directly connect the 3 fuel cells to the essential power buses.
CLS's go for OAA retract.
And we are in the process of retracting the orbiter access arm away from the vehicle. This is the walkway used by the crew to gain entry into and out of the vehicle. It can be returned to position within seconds if necessary.
CDR, OTC.
Go ahead, OTC.
Brett, the last shuttle crew may have had the mojo, but you guys are packing the power to light Space Station Alpha into the new millennium.
Well, thanks. We'll do our best and hope to see you back here in about 2 weeks.
KRPS, OTC. KRPS.
Go ahead.
Start APU strip shot recorders.
APU recorders are running.
PLT, OTC.
Go ahead.
Perform APU pre-start.
And work.
And we are at T-minus 6 minutes and counting.
OTC, PLT, APU pre-start complete, 3 great talkbacks.
Copy.
Pilot Michael Bloomfield reports that the pre-start of the auxiliary power units is complete. APU activation will come up in just a few seconds. T-minus 5 minutes and counting.
CLS's go for orbiter APU start.
And we have a go for APU start.
Perform APU start.
And work.
CDR, we configured heaters.
And work. OTC, CDR, heater reconfig complete.
Copy.
The SRB and external tank safe and arm devices have been armed.
APU start complete, 3 good APUs.
Copy that.
Main fuel valve heaters on the 3 shuttle main engines have been turned on in preparation for launch tonight. This mission carries a crew of 5 who will spend the next 11 days in orbit. They will dock with the International Space Station, perform 3 EVAs, and open the station hatch to be greeted by the 3 current inhabitants.
Go for first sequence 4.
The final test of the flight control surfaces will be conducted now. And final aerial surface checks of the orbiter's wing, elevons, and rudder are being completed. This verifies the orbiter's hydraulic systems. Next, the 3 main engines will be gimbaled as a final test prior to launch. Everything continues to look good. We're at T-minus 3 minutes and counting. All is going well for launch this evening. of the Space Shuttle Endeavour on mission STS-97.
Go for LO2 pressurization.
Tonight's launch is expected to be visible to most of the southeastern coastal regions of the United States. And we are completing the purge of the shuttle main engines at this time.
TLT, OTC, clear caution and warning, memory, verify no unexpected errors.
Copy, no unexpected errors in work.
The gaseous oxygen vent hood is being slowly retracted away from the top of the external tank.
TLT, that's complete.
Copy that.
This tank holds the 500,000 gallons of super cold liquid fuels that run the orbiter's 3 main engines.
Endeavour, OTC, close the launcher visors and initiate O2 flow.
Less than 2 minutes to launch.
TLSs go for LH2 pressurization.
T-minus 1 minute, 45 seconds. All systems are go. Endeavour is about 100 seconds away from launch.
One minute, 30 seconds.
The liquid hydrogen tank inside the external tank is reported to be at the proper flight pressures. T-minus 1 minute and counting.
1 minute.
Everything is still looking good for launch of Shuttle Endeavour from Kennedy Space Center here in Florida. And we are transferring to orbiter internal power at this time. Endeavour is running off its 3 onboard fuel cells.
Go for auto sequence start.
And we have a go for auto sequence start. Endeavour's onboard computers have primary control of the vehicle's critical functions. T-minus 20 seconds.
15.
T-minus 15 seconds. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. We have a go for main engine start. 5, 3, 2, 1. We have booster ignition and liftoff of the Space Shuttle Endeavour, providing power to the station as we continue to build our future in space.
Roll program.
Houston now controlling the flight of Endeavour. Endeavour completing the roll. The shuttle now in a heads-down, wings level position for the 8.5-minute ride to orbit. "25 seconds into the flight, Endeavour's 3 liquid fuel main engines beginning to throttle back in a 3-step fashion to 72% of rated performance. That will reduce the stress on the shuttle as it breaks through the sound barrier. Endeavour already 1.5 miles downrange from the Kennedy Space Center. All systems reported to be in great shape. 52 seconds into the flight, the main engine's beginning to rev up to full throttle, 104% of rated performance.
Endeavour, go at throttle up.
The throttle up call from spacecraft communicator Gus Loria. On board Endeavour, Commander Brent Jett, joined on the flight deck by pilot Mike Bloomfield, flight engineer Mark Garneau of the Canadian Space Agency, and mission specialist Joe Tanner. Seated alone down on the middeck, mission specialist Carlos Noriega. One minute, 36 seconds into the flight. Endeavour 18 miles in altitude, 15 miles downrange, 3 good fuel cells, 3 good auxiliary power units. This view from long-range tracking cameras north of the launch pad at the Kennedy Space Center. Standing by for solid rocket booster separation coming up in about 8 seconds. Booster officer here in Mission Control reports a good solid rocket booster separation. Endeavour 32 miles in altitude, 40 miles downrange, putting on a light show for the eastern seaboard as it heads up the eastern seaboard. Guidance has converged, all three computers. And the booster officer reports the ignition of Endeavour's orbital maneuvering system engines. That will be a 1 minute 42 second kick in the pants for Endeavour as the shuttle gets an additional lift to orbit to accommodate its 18-ton payload.
Endeavour, 2-engine TOW.
Copy, 2-engine TOW.
That call indicates that should one main engine fail, Endeavour has enough velocity at the moment to reach a transoceanic abort site in Spain. However, all three main engines continue to function as advertised. A good ride so far for the 5-man crew of Endeavour. Three minutes, 15 seconds into the flight. Endeavour 50 miles in altitude, 90 miles downrange. Those three main engines gently swiveling to hit a keyhole in space for main engine cutoff at the 8.5-minute mark into the flight. Endeavour's engines draining about a half a ton of fuel per second from that large external fuel tank. Coming up on the point of negative return where the shuttle will be too far downrange and too high in altitude to return to the launch site in the event of an engine failure. All three main engines functioning perfectly so far.
Endeavour, Houston, negative return.
Endeavour copies, negative return.
Endeavour on course and on time to hit that keyhole in space for main engine cutoff as the chase is underway to reach the International Space Station Saturday afternoon. 4 minutes, 15 seconds into the flight, 61 miles in altitude, 167 miles downrange. Endeavour's trajectory beginning to flatten out as it gains speed heading to orbit. Aboard the International Space Station, Bill Shepard, Yuri Gudzenko, Sergei Krikalev asleep at this hour. They'll be awakened about 3 hours from now to learn of Endeavour's launch. Almost 5 minutes into the flight of Endeavour. Now 65 miles in altitude, 230 miles downrange.
Endeavour, press to ATO.
Endeavour copies, press to ATO.
That call indicating that Endeavour could make its minimal orbital targets in the event of an engine failure. However, all three main engines continue to function normally. 3 good fuel cells, 3 good auxiliary power units for the orbiter. Endeavour traveling at about 7,300 miles per hour at this moment.
Endeavour, single engine ops 3.
Copy, single engine ops 3.
Endeavour, and that call up from spacecraft communicator Gus Loria could reach Zaragoza, Spain in the event of a double engine failure. However,
Endeavour, press to MECO.
Endeavour copies, press to MECO.
traveling at 9,000 miles per hour right now, 374 miles downrange. Endeavour can now make normal main engine cutoff.
Zab, 104.
Single engine Zaragoza, 104.
Everything going very well, very smooth, very quiet here in the Mission Control Center. 6 minutes, 20 seconds into the flight. The crew aboard Endeavour feeling the forces equal to 3 times the effect of gravity. The engines will be throttling back a short time from now, once again shortly before main engine cutoff, to limit the G-forces on the crew to that 3G limit. 6 minutes, 45 seconds into the flight. Endeavour traveling 11,000 miles per hour, 498 miles downrange from the Kennedy Space Center. The glimmer from the main engine bell still very visible to folks down at the launch site.
Endeavour, single engine press 104.
Copy, single engine press.
Everything continuing to go very smoothly with the climb of Endeavour to orbit, chasing the International Space Station. 7.5 minutes into the flight, Endeavour's main engines are being throttled down now to limit the stress on the shuttle and its 5 astronauts to that of 3 times the effective gravity. Endeavour traveling at a speed of more than 4 miles per second at the moment. Less than a minute away from main engine cutoff. Endeavour 720 miles downrange. Flight controllers here in Mission Control, led by Flight Director Wayne Hale, standing by for main engine cutoff, which will be followed a few seconds later by the separation of Endeavour's external fuel tank. Booster officer reports main engine cutoff right on time.
Endeavour Houston, nominal MECO, ohms 1 is not required.
And the external tank has now been separated.
Ohms